Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Today we're talking about the Durston X-Mid Pro and just generalized Zpacks tent. And this individual here, this is Darwin on the trail. You may recognize him.
Currently on the trail.
And so he's used this tent a total of one night. We thought it'd be cool just to get his first impressions on the Durston tent. And then I have very limited experience in Zpacks tents over there, and I'm using the Offset Duo. And so we thought, you know what? I've used the Durston tent a fair amount. He's used Zpacks quite a bit. Anyway, tell me about your experience in this tent. What did you think? What are your thoughts on it so far? Hang on one second before we answer that. Do you know how some people like jump in on a video like this and they're like, hey, drink Bob's coffee because Bob's coffee is amazing and it's so good. We drink Bob's coffee all the time on this channel. And then when they turn the video off, they don't actually drink Bob's coffee. They go over to the sink and dump it out. Well, this is a sponsor spot, but it's absolutely nothing like that. Let me show you what I mean. Because I almost died in the Grand Canyon the first time, we knew we needed to plan a route that we could trust to keep us safe. So we used mapping software we've been using for years to keep us safe and on track. Onx Backcountry. You can use it online and it will seamlessly transfer to your phone, or you can plan the entire route in the app. I would not use an app that I didn't trust and would not tell you to either. It's how we found this campsite safely. It's how we got water. It's how we made our way on trail. Also, Onx Backcountry is now a multi-activity app. So all of the amazing features that it has for hikers, it now has it for mountain bikers, skiers, and climbers. So we actually use the sponsors on this channel, just like Onx. If you want to be a supporter of this channel, in all seriousness, please support our sponsors. Click the link in the description below for 20% off.
I don't think it's bad. Something that I have really loved about the tents that I've used over the last 8 years is like what I'm looking for in a one-person tent is one pole. To me, just one person, one pole makes sense, regardless if you're using two poles or one pole.
Okay.
So for me, for a one-person tent, I'm not a big fan of the whole two-pole thing.
Okay.
This is interesting, this whole asymmetrical thing.
Yep.
I haven't 100% figured it out, or
Yeah.
let me say, I haven't figured out why.
I told him I wasn't going to help him set it up. I'm like, you're on your own.
No. I don't personally dig the two vestibules.
Okay.
That's not really my thing. Again, for a one-person tent, I don't really
Yeah, one
need
person, why do you need two
second
vestibules? What did you think about the interior room?
Interior room was nice with the head and the foot. I like the head and the foot room quite a bit because you do get like this boxier shape on the inside versus just a flat and a slant wall kind of thing.
Yep.
I like that, but the wall is very much like when you sit up, it's very in your face.
For sure.
Which is interesting because I've used more hex style tents that's one wall and, you know, in that slanted wall. And I feel like with those tents, it's not as harsh as it is in this.
Yeah.
And then just the height of it.
Okay.
I think I've gotten so used to using a much taller peak tent that this, like you probably saw this morning when I was drinking.
Yeah,
I like to sit in my tent.
You're like, hey Dan, how are you?
I like to sit in my tent in the morning and drink coffee. So I'm like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Versus just kind of nicely sitting and having everything open.
Right.
Even
and
with
you've
the
got
door
it pitched. You
rolled up.
actually have it pitched
Perfectly.
considerably
I know. Perfectly.
considerably higher. Yeah. So I feel like you gave yourself a decent amount of headroom on the inside.
Yeah. But this is just something I like having. This has been my argument for years with the whole L zipper door versus I know a lot of people hate the rainbow zipper door. Mm-hmm. I like the rainbow zipper door because I like to open up both vestibules.
Okay.
And then open up my door and I have
you don't have anything drooping into your face.
Massive panoramic view. I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous.
It is pretty.
So I want to sit and drink coffee. I want to look at that in the morning, see the sun rising on it. I had this like big thing in my way where I had to kind of like poke my head out.
Okay, right. Fair enough.
But again, that's personal preference. You know, all of this is subjective.
Well, this has a massive cult following.
Yeah, big cult.
Big cult following.
Big time cult. Big time cult.
So what did you think about the ventilation? We got some condensation last night. Woke up and everything in my tent was wet. Was everything in your tent wet?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Condensation. Which I was surprised at because it has the dual vestibules.
Yeah.
And in my experience, like using a tent that has dual vestibules or one, Like typically with 2 vestibules, you get more airflow because you got
Right.
obviously 2 open walls.
Yeah.
But no, still wet, still got condensation.
Okay.
So this is nice because you can tension the fly with this, right? And you can get more of that. But I feel like this should have a line lock V on it, because if I want to watch the floor, if I see how it's got that wrinkle in the floor.
Yeah.
If I want to get a straighter floor, like why can't I tension that? I want to tension that. If it's there, like what's the point of that? Look how loose it is. What's the point of that being there if I can't tension it? Because this is tensioning this line, not that line.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird to me. I wish this had a little tensioner on it so I could kind of get my floor a little more taut. See, same on that side. You can see the wave in it, the big wrinkle.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had a line lock on this and that, I could go zoink, zoink, and it would just kind of straighten up that bathtub a little bit more.
Okay.
Kind of wish I had that. I mean, aside from that, it's not a bad tent. It's not a bad tent. I don't mind it. The deal breaker for me is the whole 2 trekking pole thing. Again, at the end of the day, everybody's use case is different. My use case is like, I want the absolute easiest, quickest thing I can set up. Putting in 1 trekking pole, like putting in 2 stakes, 1 trekking pole, putting it down, tensioning it, and then putting the rest of them out, crawling in it, and going to bed.
Yeah.
That's what I care about. But I do appreciate the head and the foot end, or the head and the foot space in it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give them that.
That's an interesting first impression. It's better than I thought it was going to be. This is the Offset Duo from Zpacks. It is enormous on the inside. You literally feel like you're in the Taj Mahal. This to me is kind of complicated to set up. It was, it's just a lot of moving parts to get it to set up. I actually really like this tent a lot. I think I love the headroom. It was nice to be able to sit up inside of this thing and just feel like I'm not going to hit any wall at all. I don't necessarily love the all of the pullouts everywhere that you like pretty much absolutely have to have. I guess you don't need this one. This is the head end here. I guess you don't need this one to set it up. But it is nice to have this out here because it gave me a little bit more headroom. Now this one does have the L-shaped door, so it does curve around. I do like that they put magnets finally on the vestibules. I do like the sort of the coziness of that floor. DCF is fine. It's just like you're sleeping on a piece of plastic. It's kind of what it sort of feels like, it reminds me of. I don't mind these. It would have been nice to have Reflectix on here, but whatever. Just nitpicking. This is a great tent. It really is. It's huge though. The footprint on this thing is ginormous. So this is like tonight, I guess we're hiking and camping in a place where we're going to be a little bit more constrained.
A little snugger.
So I'm a little concerned about where this thing is going to set up.
This looks like it has the exact same footprint though of a tent the tent I used on the PCT in 2018, the duplex. This is basically like a duplex, except for instead of it being like this, it's this wall. This basically from here that way, that's a duplex. From here that way, that's where they made it longer and then put this.
Yeah.
But from here that way, that's a duplex.
This made all the difference in the world. I mean, this has got to be 2.5 feet tall, this pull out here. I mean, but I've done this for years with other tents. You just throw a stick under there, on any guy line.
Same thing.
But, they've made the fabric so that you can't, with other tents, you can't get it to look like this or, to pull out that far.
This is a bit of a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, so, this thing is like...
Again, it's extra stuff I don't want to use
personally. It is, what's finicky, it's extra things. But, this was, you got to, I don't know, just more stuff to deal with, stuff that can go wrong. It comes with a little, kind of like a case, almost for the pole. I don't know, I feel like that's a pole I'm going to lose. I'm just going to be like, oh crap, where is it? And then I'm looking for a stick or something,
Again, with me, with shelters, it all comes down to simplicity. So, whether it's that tent or this tent, it's the other reason, I don't personally, unless I'm doing winter camping, I don't like using freestanding tents.
Okay.
Because it's just a lot of stuff to mess with, a lot of stuff to break, a lot of stuff to lose, a lot of stuff to... That's what will always be a make or break thing, shelters for me.
I always say all I ever do is sleep in my tent. I'm never in my tent unless I'm waiting out a storm.
So why would you want to spend
exactly
30 minutes messing with it?
Why do I need 18 pockets, a gear loft?
Because at the end of the day, if you really want to be out in it, Like you can just, especially last night, man, we could have just cowboy camped. We could have just thrown a
Easily.
a tarp
I don't know
on the
why I
ground.
didn't. I woke up with all this condensation. I was just like, why didn't I have my doors open? It
You
was
could
the
have just
dumbest
cowboy camped. We could have just slept right on the ground.
Yeah.
And enjoyed all of this so much more and been out on it. So that's a big thing for me with gear. It has nothing to do with miles and any of that stuff. It really just has to do with I just don't want to screw with it.
I
You know what I
feel
mean?
the same way. He told me that they make a
They make a single
person,
which
yeah.
I think that I'm going to borrow one and check out. Because again, like I'm not a 2 trekking pole person, but I am interested in it kind of versus that.
yeah.
Because I think that it is that, like I said, it's got a really big cult following. So a lot of people love that. So I've been wanting to test out their.
Yeah, this is
Their-
not
their
like
thing,
a
it's
fair
like
comparison
no,
between
not
these
at
two
all,
tents at all.
not at
They're
all.
totally different type tents.
Not at all. This doesn't have the whole asymmetrical pole thing, but it's still an asymmetrical tent, right? To where you get more room down
There's
here.
way more headroom in this tent than that tent.
Is there?
Like noticeably
Yeah.
different. Yeah, you sit up in this thing and you are. There's not a. That's not a bad amount of headroom in that tent. I'm not saying
No,
that
it's
that
great.
tent.
It's
Yes,
great.
that tent is good.
But I don't
for what
like
it
this.
is. Yeah.
I don't like the wool with that much headroom.
But when you sit up, the way that they're offset, they're fine. But here, I feel like I sit up and I'm just like, I can sit. This is wow. This is great. So I'd be really interested to see the 1-person version of this. This would be a tent like I would bring with like one of my kids or
8
something
people?
like that. Yeah, 8 people, right? You know what I mean? I don't really have anything bad to say about this tent other than it is slightly complicated. Look at he's still setting up my tent. Slightly complicated to set up. A lot of moving parts, and it takes technically 8 stakes to set it up. Well, what do you guys think? Are you gonna destroy us in the comments? I would love to see that. Please destroy us in the comments. Tell us how wrong we are about these tents. Tell us how I would love to see you cult followers comment on the Durston tent.
Yeah.
And hear and tell us all the terrible things. I mean, he just set up. Apparently, he didn't really say anything too bad about
No, I
it.
think it's a fine tent.
It's a good tent, but, yeah, somebody's gonna think you did. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.